site of today's game is the Richfield Coliseum in Richfield, Ohio. And today, the visitors come from St. Louis. It's the St. Louis Storm taking on the Cleveland Crunch. And here in Richfield, Ohio, just like they did a year ago, the Cleveland Crunch have been a dominating team. They've won 5 consecutive games right here on their home turf. They've also won 11 of their last 12, and in the process, they have outscored the opposition by a nearly 2-to-1 margin here in Richfield. So the Crunch have their act together offensively. Welcome, everyone, to our Major Soccer League Game of the Week. I'm John Paul Della Camera. It's great to see that with only a week to go in the regular season, the playoffs are still scrambled. Only San Diego, Taikio, and Dallas are short of playoff berths.
This makes it exciting matchups. It gives us a lot of energy to this game. And in this particular matchup today, we have the number 2 and number 3 highest scoring teams in the league, and also 2 players going after the scoring title in Preki and ZORAN KARIC.
Well, to show you how strange a year it's been, the team that comes into this game and this weekend with the longest winning streak is St. Louis. Only 2 games because others are really losing.
Well, it becomes like that towards the end of the year. There's a lot at stake, and some of the players that are up higher in the standings start to struggle. The guys that are desperate are trying to win.
Well, the Cleveland Crunch have done better this year against the St. Louis Storm. They have the edge in the season series, but both teams still need a win to keep their playoff hopes alive here in Richfield. And as we come back to the Richfield Coliseum, the Cleveland Crunch will try to make it 6 straight wins on their home turf, going up against the St. Louis Storm team that needs to win or else their playoff hopes would end here today. Welcome back, everyone, with Taikio. I'm John Paul Della Camera. Time to take a look at the lineups today. We'll start off, as we generally do, with the visitors from St. Louis. We'll check out their forward unit, and when you look at their forwards, you'll find that Teddy Eck is having a sensational year with 29 goals. He's been a key target player up top. But it's in the midfield where this team is very dangerous. Duran moving there has really helped out, but the 2 key guys are Preki and Segota.
What a potent tandem that they present to defenders around the league. Preki, the leading scorer in the league currently, just has a vicious left-footed shot. Goalkeepers cannot control it. And alongside of him, he has Preki, who is the 2nd all-time leading scorer in this league. Watch out for his right foot. He's the 3rd leading goal scorer in the league currently.
So St. Louis has one of the better midfielders at the back. Frederickson very steady as a blocker, and Fernando Clavillo very strong. Jim Gorsek is the goalkeeper for the St. Louis Storm. He has started in 18 straight games, and Slobo Ilievsky is his backup goalkeeper and also the assistant coach. Now for the Cleveland Crunch, as far as they're concerned, they do have some injury problems, and up top, we'll look at their key guys, and you'll see that besides Marinaro and KARIC, PIKUZINSKI is having a great start, but it's still KARIC and Marinaro that are the keys.
It is KARIC, and KARIC is about to set a record for average assists per game in this league. He's so good at dishing the ball off. Leads the league in assists. He's 2nd in scoring to Preki in the league. He's got Marinaro next to him. What a flashy flair scorer this guy is, and they combine so well together.
That's a potent forward unit. Tom Tanner, a strong rookie in the midfield. Andy Schmetzer is hurt, will not play, and Dave Hoggan gives the midfield stability. At the back, you've got the aggressive Greg Willen and the steady George Fernandez, and now Kai Haskeby joins that group to replace the injured Chico Moreira. Otto Orff and P.J. Johns are the goalkeepers. We're expecting to see P.J. Johns getting the start in goal, although he has a bruised right shoulder. We've got Cleveland and St. Louis, and it's next here on Sports Channel. The Major Soccer League. They say soccer is scrunches when Cleveland crunches, and they've been crushing a lot this season. They've won their last 5 straight at home, 11 of 12. They'd like it to continue today. St. Louis, the visitors, in white, predominant white, and in the black and red are the Cleveland Crunch. Ted Eck, number 14, knocking it back. Stripped away, Hoggan will break. Clavillo chasing him down. Hoggan on the foot, scores! What a way to start a game.
And it immediately gets the crowd into it. In indoor soccer, a 1-goal lead doesn't mean that much, but here's Dave Hoggan. He wins the ball in midfield, which he excels at, but then this left-footed rocket, a dipping shot that beats GORSEK, finishes it off well, but he's in behind everyone. Plenty of room to cruise. He lines it up well, strikes it true, and beats GORSEK up high over his right shoulder.
Well, if you're a goalkeeper, you like to get a touch on the ball early, and Dave Hoggan did not let GORSEK do that, and The Storm are in a 1-0 hole right now. HOGGAN with his 29th goal of the year. And we have a foul called. Stoppage in play, and St. Louis will put it in play. KARIC gets the assist at 18 seconds, so KARIC has now scored a point in 28 straight games and an assist in 12 straight.
And that puts him in a tie for the league scoring lead with Preki.
Here's Segota. Right side, Eck. Back to number 20, Segota. Intercepted by the rookie Tanner. Now to KARIC. HOGGAN has Tanner. He's behind the defense. Walking in, the shot is saved by Jim GORSEK. He had to make the play there, and going down, and Gino DiPolito calls a penalty, not just a foul on HOGGAN for upending Preki.
Preki was about to start a break the other way. HOGGAN clipped him. He'll go to the box. But we just saw Cleveland again really catching St. Louis in the transition game. And GORSEK came up with a good save from the angle. Here's Preki. He's past HOGGAN. HOGGAN slides him. On the replay there, it looks as if Preki may have actually kept his balance and took a dive after he was barely touched by HOGGAN. So some gamesmanship there by Preki to gain the penalty call against HOGGAN.
There's number 11. He came into the game with a 1-point lead over KARIC, 93-92 as the league's top scorer. We'll look again.
See it again. Now, he clips him slightly, but Preki took another step as if he was maybe going to stay upright, decided to go down and look for the call.
Here's the top power play in the Major Soccer League. Preki on the footer, and it's blocked. Broken up by Santo, and he sends it into space. St. Louis has scored on 5 out of their last 7 on the power play. It's a 65% power play ranking, number 1. And watch Segota and Eck. They have 8 power plays. Here's ZORAN. Save. Rebound, Clevio. Look out. That one sails way out of play. To give you a contrast, Cleveland has scored 16 power play goals, and there are 30 the other way. And there's a man who will set it up on the power play, although he's not one of their leading scorers in terms of man advantage. And here's something you'll see a lot of. Preki is sitting out. They'll put in a defensive runner to run for Preki, and when they get ball possession, you know he's coming back on the man advantage. Greg Willard knocking it ahead. HOGGAN still has a minute 27 to sit out. Here's Fernandez. Fernandez in his 281st consecutive game. Now to Greg Willard, number 3 for Cleveland. Picked off. Clevio. Now Preki jumps on as John Klein goes off. There was a defensive switch. Preki. Left side to Durant. Cleveland made a switch too. They sent KARIC out when they lost the ball. Here's Preki trying to pass and deflect it out of play by Santo. It stays St. Louis's ball.
We look at Preki. He started this game as the leading point getter in the entire league. KARIC with his assist on HOGGAN's goal knotted that scoring race. And Preki, obviously the one, the organizer of this power play. But look to Segota also. He's another one that they put a defensive runner on for.
They've worked more on set pieces since Clevio took over. He played it across. It's broken up. Here's Segota, number 20 in white. Out to Clevio. 53 seconds left on the power play. They are 5 for 6 this year. Man advantage against Cleveland. Preki nudging it right side. This is Segota. The Yugoslavian duo continues. Here's Preki on the cut. The pass to Eck. He scores. Ted Eck will get the tying goal on the power play. And with that goal, Eck now has 9 power play goals to take over the team leadership.
And Ted Eck got the goal, but Preki did everything on the play. He works his way through the entire Cleveland power penalty killing unit and then slips it into Eck, who on the half turn is able to finish it with his left foot and beat P.J. Johns, who had come out to cut the angle but wasn't there in time. But look at Preki just weaving his way through the Cleveland defenders. They're even colliding with each other, and he's still able to slip that ball through to Ted Eck, and Eck does well in these situations. A big, strong guy who holds that position near the goal.
Number 14 in white now has 30 goals on the year. He had 27 last year, what was his best year with Kansas City. Kai Oskavy on the floor now. On defense, he replaces the injured Chico Morera. 16 is KARIC. Now to Marinaro. Try to turn, it's broken up. Marinaro is our special halftime guest, so we hope you'll stick around for that later on. There's Oskavy. Cleveland must lead the league in guys wearing some kind of bandaging around their arms. KARIC, Oskavy. Here's PIKUZINSKI in the corner. He's been their hot scorer. 11 goals in his last 5 games.
And Hoskovy recently had still been wearing a large knee brace, which now he's dispensed with.
KARIC trying to turn, stripped away. Kevin Hundell takes it. Number 9 in white for St. Louis. Into space. George Pastor. Back for Hundell. Hundell, left footer, low, and P.J. Johns is right there. Johns had a bruised right shoulder, but he was all right to play today. Marinauer, number 21. A 15-game scoring streak coming into this one. Off Mark Frederickson into the corner. King trying to sneak by. Michael King there. A 1-1 tie. We're just shooting in 11 and a half to go in the opening quarter of play. Here's Marinauer. Picked up by Pastor. PIKUZINSKI trying to give it back. Stays with it. And the foul is going to be called on Duran. Gino DiPolito and Joe Manfrey are your officials on the floor. Michael Popora, the alternate. There's Gerald Duran. 5 goals, couple of assists, 7 points in his last 2 games.
They're right there, George.
A 1-1 tie. Marinauer and Hoskovy over the ball. Now it's Hoskovy. Hoskovy across. It's blocked by Duran. Godfrey Ingram taking charge. 3-on-2. Marinauer hustles back with Fernandez. Lead pass for Pastor. He couldn't control it. And Johns is right there.
A tough overtime loss for the Cleveland Crunch in Tacoma on Friday night. A long flight back, but St. Louis has played now 3 games in 4 days. They played Thursday night in Baltimore. They played Friday at home in a win over Wichita. And then this Sunday afternoon game is their 3rd game in 4 days.
Hoggan will play it up now to Michael King. Hoggan scored the first goal of the game just 18 seconds into it. Lead pass again for Hoggan. Off the double team, it's played right back to Jim Gorsek. 10:38 remaining. This is Gorsek's 19th straight start. Look at Ted Eck on the fly left wing. Eck fires it wide. Fernandez right back to P.J. Johns. I'll tell you, it's end-to-end. If these teams are tired, they're not showing it. Hoggan to KARIC. Right back to Willis.
They won't be able to keep this pace.
Hoggan is shot, punches out Gorsek. Looked like he didn't see it until it came over his screen.
It was dipping too. Again, Hoggan's left-footed goal also took a dip like that.
Brecky will put a stop to the ball. He now has a 27-game scoring streak after his first assist here tonight. Brecky, now the team captain, since Clavio took over as player coach. Shots on goal are even, score is even at 1. The magic of Brecky, number 11 in white. To HIRMEZ, the shot almost beat P.J. Johns to the short side.
Just great dribbling exhibition. He's got defenders shaking their boots.
Segota wants it back. Hundell trying to give it off the boards or make it Santel. Here's KARIC with a little room. Good run on the right side by Willem. KARIC holds, shoots, blocked by HIRMEZ. KARIC again, off a deflection in front. Unlucky for Cleveland. I know you said they can't keep up this pace.
They're still doing it.
Yeah, let's see how long. I agree with you. St. Louis does not want this. Fernando Clavio told me before the game they don't want to run. They want to give up their half of the field and come back and play tighter defense. He says if we run with them or have to, we'll be in trouble. Here's John Klein. Intercepted. Marinauer. Broken up. Good defense by Hundell, number 9. Here's Duran. Duran giving it up for Klein, who takes down Michael King. And a foul on John Klein. Coming back the other way. Long for Marinauer, and Gorsek is right there. Godfrey Ingram taking it back. Too far off the mark, intended for Pastor. Hoskovy's pass. There's Ingram. Off the boards. Trying to cut inside of King. Got by. Can't go anywhere inside. P.J. Johns is right there.
St. Louis will need to settle this down. As I mentioned, their 3rd game in 4 days. You can't keep this kind of pace against a team like Cleveland, which loves to play that quick transition game and are so explosive up front with Marinauer, KARIC coming out of the midfield, Michael King.
Here's Fernandez. Off the boards. Intended for Michael King. Frederickson breaks it up. Pass in the right wing. Intended for Santel. Doesn't get there. John Klein. Back to number 10, Frederickson. Second all-time in block shots to Bernie James of Cleveland, or formerly of Cleveland.
Cleveland leads the season series 4-2, and St. Louis has not won in this building this year.
Durant off the boards. He wanted Eck. Doesn't get there. King gave it right back to Johns. Not where P.J. Johns would have wanted it because Eck was right there. Here's Michael King. Scoreless in his last couple of games, but a very deadly shooter. Had 4 goals in an earlier game with Baltimore. Tom Tanner, the rookie. 8 goals, but only 22 shots, so he's making them count. Willis at midfield, tied at 1. 7:08 to go in a very fast-moving opening quarter of play here in Richfield, Ohio. Johns broken up by Ted Eck. Now Fernandez to Michael King. Clavijo knocking that away. There comes Brecky. Cutting it back. Now it's Fredrickson again. Against Tanner. For Ted Eck. Fredrickson blocked. Eck will try. Fernandez on him, out to Gerald Duran.
Eck working very hard to hold those deep positions for the St. Louis attack, and it opens things up at midfield for the dribble of a Brecky.
Fernandez will take charge and play it right back to P.J. Johns. Now it's Fernandez with a little bit of daylight. Now he puts on the brakes, gives off to KARIC. Zoran KARIC against Clavijo. Knocked away, but you saw some support coming. Brecky on one side, Pastor on the other. PIKUZINSKI trying to get free, and GORSEK knocks it away, and it goes out of play. Now we should have an official's timeout on the floor. Well, it's about time there was a stoppage, because the way this game was going, it was end-to-end, and finally a stoppage. Tied at 1 between Cleveland and the visitors from St. Louis. Well, fortunately for them, GORSEK made a nice save before it became 2-0 and before any momentum set in. So Clavijo's got his troops going pretty good, I think, right now.
Not bad, except, of course, we mentioned the pace. They probably won't be able to keep that type of running game up against Cleveland. They don't want to get into it, and they're fortunate also that they can count on their power play, because it's that goal that's gotten them back into a tie score in this one.
Now, he could run with them, but he could run with anybody, but not the entire team. They played Thursday night in Baltimore, traveled Friday, played again. Cleveland played Tuesday and Friday and also had to travel.
Clavijo could run with the road runner or Speedy Gonzalez
and maybe beat them. Off the boards, it's loose. Santel, who's got some good speed as well. And now Klein tries to take it. And now Klein fouled PIKUZINSKI. So that will slow it down. KARIC over the ball. You always have to watch him in the restart. The shot, though, was blocked by John Klein. Marinaro will chase it. They have not been using Marinaro and KARIC that much this year together, at least lately, but they're out there now with PIKUZINSKI. Talk about a potent threesome. KARIC. These guys all have streaks going. GORSEK off the boards and out. Cleveland will have it. And then you've got Hoskeby with 681 career points at the back in Santo, and GORSEK's going to wonder what's going to hit him next.
You really do. You have some of the all-time legends in this league as a part of this game. KARIC is making himself a legend, but Segota, the second all-time leading scorer, too.
There's been another timeout call to the floor. It looks like St. Louis has taken a timeout. Dead even at 1.
In the playoff picture, Cleveland needs this one. As we mentioned at the top of the show, St. Louis is finished in terms of playoff picture if they can't get a win today.
And they've played better on the road. They've won 2 of their last 3. Here's Marinaro. A shot off the post. Missed by inches. Here's Hoskeby. Holding. Looking for PIKUZINSKI. Blocked by Klein. Now it's HIRMEZ. Blocked by KARIC. PIKUZINSKI. HIRMEZ in trouble. Almost gave it up to KARIC. Ex-teammates in San Diego going back about 3 years. Here's Eck. Now to Brecky. Trying to get by PIKUZINSKI. Brecky going long for Eck. Blocked. But Eck will get it back. Good recovery by Ted Eck. And then Marinaro knocked him down. Eck's goal was the tying goal at 2:08. Marinaro, our halftime guest in a pre-recorded feature. Hope you'll stick around for that one. That's coming up later on. Tied at 1. Here is Brecky. Shooting it wide. And not by much. Segota puts this one way up and out of play. He's been bothered by a back problem, and he says, hey, what can you do about that? He just got underneath it, but he's missed 3 of the last 4 games. When he came back against Wichita, he scored 2 goals.
He's a guy that, obviously, the second all-time leading scorer in the league that can do some damage. This ball on the rebound comes out to him, and he probably wants this one too badly. And he's feeling that back, that tightness a little bit, not quite as mobile to get in a good position to strike that ball on target.
He and Marinaro have 47 goals, tied for third place in the Major Soccer League. We'll show you the leaders at halftime. I was surprised I saw David Doyle on top of the pack. He's come from out of nowhere. He had a great game against Dallas in a televised game we did a few weeks back, but he's really had a sensational year. Here's Greg Willett, number 3 in the red and black of Cleveland, giving it across now to Fernandez. Along the boards, Tanner and Hundell pumping, and Hundell just barely got called for that one. Kevin Hundell switching to the back with Duran switching to midfield. So since Clevio's taken over, and even before Nadav Popovic, they tried Duran a little bit in the midfield. There were some experiments being done before the coaching change was made. Here's Hoggan, who scored 18 seconds in. Sending it back outside to Willen. 4.5 to go in the quarter. Knocked away. Preki. Trying to play it in the middle of Hundell. Santel overran it. He got help from Tanner. Here's Tom Tanner off the boards. Wants his own pass. Reinforce it. I'll tell you, the rookie made a great play. To take that off the boards and pass to yourself, it's not easy. Here's Clevio down the left wing, and it's knocked away by Johns. And now GORSEK has to come out. Up for Hundell to midfield. Now to Duran. Cutting it well to Preki, and he shot it wide. Duran may get a piece. Instead, it's to Tanner. Now to Michael King. That midfield, the Crunch try to change up. Marinaro joins the attack. Over the line, Marinaro. This is dangerous. Great save for Jimmy GORSEK. Marinaro apologizing for not laying it off to Willem, but when you're a natural goal scorer like that, you got to go with your instinct.
Some stellar, gutsy play by both goalkeepers here. P.J. Johns coming out, sliding just before. Now this, look how much time Marinaro had to line it up. That's why he took it. He thinks he can even overpower GORSEK from that range. But GORSEK, almost just to survive, got his hands up there to keep this one off the board, because it was really him and Marinaro face to face, and he was able to stop it.
Carrots on the restart. 3:49 left, first quarter, even at 1. Cleveland and St. Louis. Quick shot by DeFloria was blocked. Here's Marinaro, blocked by Duran. No room there. Duran leading the Storm and blocked shots coming in. KARIC trying to beat 2 players, not that time. Klein knocks it away. Down to 3:35 remaining. Marinaro holding it. Duran defending. Santo comes on for DeFlorio.
And this is more or less the way St. Louis would rather play it. In other words, conserve their energy here, stay organized, and try not to be penetrated by the Cleveland attack.
Here's KARIC. Blocked. Has to be blocked up. KARIC save. Has to be looking. I'd like to see that again. Did Klein get a piece, or was that all GORSEK?
No, it was Klein. It was in behind GORSEK, who was still reaching back. Might have got it, but Klein cleared it before he had to.
Duran knocked away. Pass up 4 from Greg Muir. Now to Mark Fredrickson. To Ingram. Has to be won, and then knocked it away to Santel. Here's Segota. Against Santel. Segota left-footer save, and John just barely gets the rebound. Segota's shot is so heavy that oftentimes you'll see those rebounds. Hoggan. Knocking it back now to Greg Willem. Ahead of KARIC. Hoggan wears number 26. He started here as the team captain. And then dropped that role. And then Fernandez became captain. Hoggan will put it in play now to Greg Willem. 2:18 left in the quarter, tied at 1. Clevio on the intercept, now to Segota. Plays it ahead now to John Klein. Klein, smart pass to Segota. They want to get Preki back on because he's just running for him. Now HIRMEZ. Preki's going to stay, but they did bring Ingram out. Now Preki's going to come out. And Santel put the ball ahead. And Tito DiPolino, I think, says it's not yours.
Nice try. But St. Louis has spent a lot more time working on their line changes so that Preki's not playing nearly as many total minutes out there, but I think he's more effective because he's got the young guys coming on to spell him.
Preki, a couple of cuts later, he still has it. HIRMEZ wants to tee it up, a shot, a score! Ron HIRMEZ with a bullet from the left side. Duran and they're trying to set up the screen, and St. Louis takes a 2-1 lead.
You know, I was surprised that HIRMEZ did not hit that first time. He loves so much just to step through a ball with his left foot, but it was just a little bit off, but he took another step and really fooled P.J. Johns because that ball swerved to the outside rather than cross corner. And I thought HIRMEZ might hit it right there, but he didn't. Instead, he looked up and watched the ball bend towards the near post and away from the outstretched P.J. Johns. And HIRMEZ, for him, who's fought injuries a lot of the year, that one felt good for him.
Well, Frecky had the assist on the HIRMEZ goal, you're right, because WAAD has really struggled this year. Played at the start in Baltimore. They thought he was going to have a great year there. Got into the doghouse with Ken Cooper, and they just let him go. He ended up in St. Louis, and he's played different positions, and then he's been injured as well. King. Looking, and now it's Santel. Trying to get by Fernandez. Look at that speed we were talking about earlier, though, with Santel.
This way, this way.
He almost outran any help he might get from teammates when he pushed it in through the Cleveland defender. Sometimes it can be a disadvantage to be too fast as a forward.
Willen, right side. HIRMEZ knocking it away. Down to Willen. I want to bring up a name. I remember Charlie Falzone was that way in Pittsburgh his first year, and then he adjusted. He was so fast when he played midfield, he outran the second and the first forward. Then after that, he settled out. But that speed, you have to harness it, too.
You have to mix it up. You have to decide when and where to use it. If you use it all the time, it becomes predictable, and you do isolate yourself. Many times it's you against three defenders.
There's Hoskedy.
First, I never had that problem.
I'm sorry, you said that. I wish I could have given you a shot there. Loose ball, and PIKUZINSKI needs the ball. Oh, too high. King looking. Blocked by HIRMEZ. Time running out. 37 seconds left in that now. Loose ball, and GORSEK is there. HIRMEZ took down Barnell. Hector's still arguing about the call that doesn't come. 28 seconds left. Hoskedy back in his home zone. Cleveland with 21 seconds left. Barnell. Hector still working it. Along with Klein. Izzy PIKUZINSKI. Blocked by Klein Barnell. Came and tried to whack through it.
Some tenacious defense. Greg Muir just all over Marinello. ZORAN came in to help. Marinello just paying the price for being such a dangerous attacking player. That's one of the ways a defender can try and slow him up. But some real physical play there. Some frustration on the face of Marinello, because he's not getting calls, and he's also not able to work his way past the Bulldog, Greg Muir.
Muir is tough defensively, and he's having a solid second season. Here's GORSEK on the long throw. Off Hundell. Time should run out here in the opening quarter of play, and that's it for one quarter. It got off to a quick start when HOGGAN scored. There's Hector Marinaro, who worked as hard as anyone. He's still upset at the fact that there was no foul call there towards the end, but as he will go off the floor, his team will be trailing here 2-1 after taking a 1-0 lead early on a HOGGAN goal 18 seconds in. So after 15 minutes of play, the visitors have a 1-goal lead. Welcome back, everyone, to Richfield, Ohio. We're going to look at the last goal and watch WAAD HIRMEZ do his thing.
The go-ahead goal for St. Louis. The big left foot from HIRMEZ. He hits it well, and he caught P.J. Johns just leaning a little bit the other way.
You know, when you said earlier you wondered why he didn't hit it the first time, is that maybe a confidence thing because he hasn't been doing as well, and now he's with a new team and the role is different? Could that be?
Not so much a confidence. I think perhaps I talked to him about the hamstring injury that sort of tagged along with him through most of the year. That's part of it. He's not going to try something that would take a little bit extra step through the ball, so he's going to line it up. And the pass was slightly behind him. It wasn't really set well for him to strike first time.
Well, if ever there was an expert on hamstrings, it's going to be you. You were Mr. Hamstring, weren't you?
Had enough of that problem. Not anymore, though.
No, it's pretty safe up here.
Yeah, well, most of the time.
Yeah. Part of the crowd that came out to watch the Cleveland Crunch play, they're way up in last year's attendance, better than a couple thousand a game, but St. Louis has really been the pace setters. Despite being in last place, they are leading the Major Soccer League in terms of attendance this year. And if they have better than 11,000, 11,500 plus in their last game, they'll be the first team in 3 years to average 10,000 a game. Talk about determination. That look says it all.
Well, that look and probably the verbal abuse you put in the direction of the official has put Marinaro in the box. His team is not a man short, but he'll sit there for a minimum of 2 minutes and not be able to re-enter the game until the first official substitution time.
So you're taking away one of the better offensive players from the game. Well, he took himself out with whatever he said to the official, and it had to be after that timeout. Tanner has it knocked away. There are the shots, and the Crunch has the edge. Right now, here's Hoggan on the pass, blocked. Hoggan in the corner.
Cleveland just looking sharper, maybe pressure, but winning so many balls at midfield. They're winning the loose ball.
Here's the loose ball, one to Willard, and it's blocked. Frederiksen, I thought, saved the goal, and it looked like it would have gone behind GORSEK. Off the boards, it's loose. GORSEK's down. KARIC holding on. And now taken away by Santel. Fernandez knocking it ahead, but there's Frederiksen. Now it's Hoggan. Spinning in the neutral zone. Up for Willem. In a 2-1 game, St. Louis has the lead. Pass door now to Brecky. And the league's top scorer will bring it back. Picked up by Fernandez, trying to shake to the outside. Brecky, number 11 in white, back out to HIRMEZ. He scored the last goal. He scored a goal in his last 2 games for St. Louis. Now it's ZORAN. Pastor tried to turn, and Hoggan did a good job defensively. May have gotten away with a hold or a push, but to get away with it, it's considered a good play by your coach.
If it's disguised well enough.
KARIC goes off the floor. We've got a timeout on the floor. Cleveland off to a good start here, but they're still down 2-1.
Why should you change?
Welcome back to Richfield, Ohio. That's it. Give the ball back. We want to play. It's 2-1. St. Louis Storm, the visitors. They're on top. Godfringham and WAAD HIRMEZ talking things over. And Hector Marinaro will go back to the penalty box. But again, it is not a man advantage situation. They've changed that rule from a few years ago when they used to penalize the team. Now they just penalize the player, but indirectly it penalizes the team. But you don't have to go a man down. Here's HIRMEZ. Knocked away. Great up and go by Hoskary. Segota trying to slip by, and Hoskary, great job to hold him. And a foul. Doesn't like the call, but looked like a good one from up here.
Kai Hoskary is one of the legends in this league, as I mentioned. Of course, Segota is the second all-time leading scorer. Slobolyevsky, the assistant coach for St. Louis, one of the legends in this league.
Brecky, look at those cuts. The shot is blocked by DeFlorio. Brecky has so many moves as a defender. Just when you think you might have seen his last one, he does something else. Very tough to mark.
He keeps the ball under complete control the entire time. So if you make a misstep, he's gone.
Brecky ready in the restart. Looking, gives it outside. The shot taken went high and wide. Off Segota. ZORAN moving it back down to HIRMEZ. St. Louis now with a little bit more ball possession. Going right side. Brecky heads it down. Got it right back. On the block. PIKUZINSKI coming right back the other way for the Crunch. Lead pass. DeFlorio is free. He shot it too high. In fairness to DeFlorio, a tough one to do something with once he was right there in front of the goalkeeper.
Difficult to handle going at full speed, knowing the keeper's coming up from behind you and having to turn. But PIKUZINSKI played it in nicely because DeFlorio's in behind everyone. He makes a good turn, but he has to hurry it a bit because he knows GORSEK's coming. When he hurries it, he gets under it and puts it over the bar.
There's PIKUZINSKI. He had 3 game-winning goals in a recent stretch. And Trevor Dawkins is giving him more carpet time because of it. He's shooting at very close to 50%. That's unheard of. Upfield now to Ingram. Knocked away. PIKUZINSKI trying to leave it, and then thought better of it. Back to the feet of P.J. Johns. Eck will put a little heat on. 2-1. St. Louis in white are leading it. Greg Muir. Knocked away upstairs by Hoskary. Hoskary looks younger right now, doesn't he, since he's back playing?
Exactly. He's having some fun when he was the player coach. In fact, he was the most recent player coach before Clavijo took over in St. Louis. But he's matched up right now with Ted Eck, and they're both very strong players physically. It's a good matchup in terms of physical strength.
Well, being a player coach aged him. And Clavijo just now recently became the 8th in MSL history to do both jobs. Here is Brecky. Michael King took it away. Coming back, Marinaro, he only had the 2 minutes, so he was out after that last stoppage. GORSEK on the long throw. He leads the Major Soccer League goalkeepers with 5 assists, so he can help the offense out. Here's Brecky.
I talked to him about that, and he says it's a shame they don't also count the times that he made good throws or good distributions, and shootouts were called, which resulted in goals.
Good point.
because he said he had at least another handful there.
Right side pass, broken up. Good play by John Klein right off the bench. Leads the attack into Eck right back. Here's Klein, a turnout save, rebound, and it's empty. Couldn't make it through once, and then it's straight up by Hoskevy. Michael came off Hundell. And it's blocked by Greg Muir. Solid defense by number 4, Greg Muir. Would look like he was at the end of his shift the way he was waving to that bench, and that's a tougher play to make defensively when there's no gas left in the tank.
Yeah, he's built very low to the ground. He's difficult to beat. He's so strong and has good balance, too. And King, who's a powerful runner, thought he had slipped by him, but Muir was still able to reach in and poke that ball away.
Talking things over, Marinaro will get a lot of the ball in these situations, especially when KARIC takes it. That will be the first look if he's open.
Marinaro is more of a long-range marksman than even KARIC. KARIC gets in there, mixes it up, and is able to lay balls off.
KARIC tried to play it across, doesn't get there. DeFlorio was looking for it. Now KARIC to DeFlorio off of Willen. They were using Willen as a target player that time. Durant breaking free. Klein with great speed. Left Trevio right. Left for Klein. The shot deflected wide. Trevio couldn't get there. It was behind him. And look out. It looks like the first quarter when it was coast to coast. Willen across. Great block by Hundell as DeFlorio was flying high and open. Right side, DeFlorio. Marinaro to KARIC. Back away. And then KARIC will get called for a foul. He upended. I couldn't even see who it was. Oh, John Klein.
Yeah. The fans getting their money's worth here in terms of attacks and counterattacks and wide open transition play, because these teams pretty much, except for a small part of the end of the first quarter, have gone for broke.
Santel shooting it in wide. Now it's Hoggan. Holding it. Back for George Fernandez. A 2-1 St. Louis lead. Long pass, broken up. Cleveland trying to send those long balls through. Here is Ingram. Coming back, right side, a shot off the post. Johns, if he got a finger on it, it was barely. Tanner now to KARIC, has to wait for it. KARIC on the cut, holding it. Number 16 with a shot. Saved by Jim GORSEK. How KARIC can put so much on the ball after all that motion, and then he shoots it on the dead stop. Pastor. 22 in white for St. Louis. Nudged by Hoskevy. St. Louis still up 2-1. 10:16 left. Second quarter. HIRMEZ. A shot. A puller that went wide. HIRMEZ has the go-ahead goal for the Storm. Pastor shooting it. It was blocked. Pastor looked for the rebound that didn't come. And we've got a foul on St. Louis. Long ball. KARIC. Settled. Shoots. Off the post. After GORSEK came out. A lapse that time, though, by St. Louis. You've got to know where number 16 is at all times, and the Storm are very lucky.
And he took what's really a half chance. He had not much space to work with. Brought the ball down beautifully. Tried to lift it over. GORSEK did, but it just went off the top of that crossbar and came back out.
Oh, when they say it's a game of inches, this game, you saw some of it there.
Well, we saw just a moment ago Ingram hitting the corner of the post at the other end, and the ball rebounding out.
All right, on the restart, here's KARIC at the top of the arc. A lot of firepower on for the Crunch. KARIC spins it off. Hoggan shot it in wide, and now it's turned out by Torrijos. P.J. Johns out of his goal. Eck will pressure him. Almost forcing the giveaway. Hoggan, great move. And now Cleveland will scramble back to get it. 9:36 left. Second quarter. Cruncher down, 2-1. Hoggan on the cut. KARIC couldn't get it on the turn. May have changed his mind in the mid-swing, and we've got a player down. HIRMEZ. And whatever happened off the ball, whether he went down on his own or somebody got a piece of him,
there did not seem to be anyone near him when I first noticed him going down. And they're going to be checking either the hamstring again, which he's had problems with during most of the year. And you see he's got that support bandage on the left hamstring, the blue garment there. But he's also having his ankle checked out, it appears, by Jerry Schlemmer, the St. Louis Storm trainer. So he's obviously in a great deal of pain.
Well, St. Louis can't afford any injuries. You know, when you can only dress 14 and you come in tired, that's a problem when you look at it. And HIRMEZ has already had a good start for St. Louis. That goal really helped the team out a lot. Gave them the go-ahead goal to make it 2-1. He scored it with 13:07 to go. He began the year in Baltimore, and now with St. Louis, that's his point total, 11. 9:25 left in the second. We'll update you on WAAD HIRMEZ. Hopefully, for WAAD HIRMEZ's sake, might be just an ankle twist, but he is in obvious pain. And we'll try to get an update for you and see if he comes back out there. 9:25 to go here in the second quarter. You may see some ice and maybe halftime adjustment, or he may come back out a shift or two later.
And nobody was near him. He just misstepped, turned that ankle. Depends on how far he turned it.
Back. Number 14 in white. He already has a goal here for St. Louis. Here's Precky. Cutting across the line, looking for Duran. That's broken up, and Marinaro finds Willard. 9:04 to go. Second quarter. St. Louis up 2-1. And now going down to Jack, and King standing over him. Didn't like the call of the foul, but looked like he got a good enough piece. Trevor Dawkins, the all-star coach for the E squad. Precky playing it in, but right to Marinaro. Look at Hundell's got it right back to Duran. A shot saved. John's rebound. Hundell was flying in, and if there was a foul call there, it would have been a shootout.
Well, King held him. King held him and got away with it.
I was looking for a call. I saw a little contact. All the way across. Here's Santo. Cleveland trying to tie it with a shot. Deflected out as GORSEK was screened on it. And they're going to give it to Cleveland apparently off of the deflection. Good toss there. Cleveland will have a corner kick coming up. Set pieces, Cleveland does well with them, and if St. Louis has a weakness, even after the coaching change, it's really depending on these set pieces. They've given up more than their share of goals that way.
And that normally is almost entirely mental concentration. You have to be not only set up well and properly positioned to know where the dangers are presented to you, but read it and react, or better than react, anticipate.
Here's KARIC asking for the required 10 feet. But there's not a lot of space there. Here's KARIC giving it up. Quick shot. Blocked. It was King who took it. Off the boards. Marinaro played it back. Johns has to come out for it. PJ's pass looking for PIKUZINSKI. Headed away by Muir. KARIC and now off Tedek. And it gets by everybody right back to GORSEK. Cutting it for Eck. King trying to knock it away. And a foul.
That's that same war, another battle in that same war between King and Tedek. Similar players in some ways. They like to use their size. Here's the body positioning by Eck. He's backing in, but look at King wrestle him to the ground.
Here comes Precky as we're back on live action. 2-1 St. Louis leading it. Tough tackle along the boards. Look at Tanner, the rookie, working hard. Playing across to Fernandez. That's a great effort, and that can be contagious. Fernandez. Right side to HOGGAN. HOGGAN scored 18 seconds into the game. That's been it for Cleveland. Here he goes again. He scores!
Dave HOGGAN has always been one of the more useful players in this league because he does so many things well. Very versatile. This time, again, he's a great ball winner at midfield, and then he's able to go at Mark Santel, get him moving, and then strike a pretty shot all the way to the far post, beating GORSEK. But look at the nice move. He sets up Santel, leans in, now goes back outside, and then on the second touch, just gets all of that ball, just rips it into the far side netting.
HOGGAN gets his 30th goal of the year. Give Fernandez the assist, but give Tom Tanner a lot of credit because they don't even get upfield. They don't win the ball. He does the dirty work on the other end and maybe gets a pat on the back from Trevor Dawkins, nothing on the score sheet. That's a big goal, and HOGGAN is the kind of guy that scores the emotional kind of goals that can lift you up, and now St. Louis must lift themselves up too, but Cleveland needed a goal. They needed a goal because St. Louis was starting to do things the way they wanted.
Tanner along the boards there really using as a role model for himself, HOGGAN, that kind of battling spirit, and he was able to get the ball out to HOGGAN, who then put it away.
We'll watch Dave HOGGAN do his thing again.
Some deception, some change of pace, and he knew exactly on that second touch that he was going to get his whole body behind the ball and power it to the far side.
So he has both goals for Cleveland. That one at 7-12, and it's now tied. Hoggan's 30th from George Fernandez. So St. Louis, let's see what they do now. Their ball. Does it become the running game? Here's HIRMEZ, who's back out there. He missed maybe a couple of shifts at most, but he's back out to give it a try. Play back to the feet of GORSEK.
Which is sometimes not worth it. If that ankle is weak and tender, he could end up on the operating table. He steps up quickly.
He went right back on. That was as quick a test as you'll see. That's going to be killing him. KARIC. Hundell. Looks like they wanted to find out before halftime. 7:18 left. Second quarter, and it's even at 2. Fernandez knocks it away. Segota was in there. Fernandez beats the ex-teammate. Segota holding on to the knee as he went down. Well, he doesn't want to have knee or ankle trouble. That looks as what happened that Greg Will in this game.
If he's lucky, it was just a good bang on the shin above the ankle there, below the knee. We'll see here Fernandez battling, going in low, and then Segota going over the top of him. Fernandez following through and catching him probably just above the ankle. Which can be a very tender spot. Over the course of the season, you take so many hits there, it accumulates, and even one that's not that hard can be very, very painful. But there he is, and he slides slightly over the ball, too, which is really an attempt to protect himself, but it can be very dangerous to the player who is coming in from the other side.
That was a great camera angle, because I didn't see it as bad until the third one.
He does. He skims the top of the ball, and then comes in with the bottom of his foot very forcefully to catch Segota, who was coming in at the ball level.
Oh, that'll make him forget about his back trouble, unfortunately.
That's one way of looking at it. But there's Fernandez, and he's fully extended, and he's over the ball slightly and catching Segota there above the ankle.
Well, Segota, the difference a year, makes 47 goals, 22 assists, 69 points. He had only 17-17 for 34 last year. Several injuries that really slowed him down with San Diego. He was playing hurt. This year, even though he's missed a few games, 3 of his last 4 with a back problem, has been a very healthy year for Segota, and the numbers have been healthy.
And he made an effort there at the last second to really try and get out of the way of it, but not enough.
Long ball for Hoggan. He has both Cleveland goals in the corner. Knocked away. St. Louis can't get it out. Fernandez, a wild shot. Klein sends it long. P.J. Johns is way out. Klein couldn't get that, and short Hopkins. And now KARIC. Great ball across the reverse for Hoggan. Hoggan with a shot. He's got the hat trick. Hoggan. 3 goals. He's got Jimmy GORSEK's number today.
Dave Hoggan has always liked the TV cameras. Whenever it's a televised game, it seems like he comes up with some points. This one a little bit differently. He beat GORSEK with a quick little toe shot. He sets up John Klein, and he actually pokes it through Klein's legs, using him as a screen and giving GORSEK no chance. It's a quick release. It's through the legs of the defender, and it's by the goalkeeper GORSEK before he can really see it. It started with KARIC switching the point of attack beautifully to the opposite side. Hoggan now has plenty of time to run at Klein. Klein sets himself up too squarely, leaves his legs open. Hoggan, seeing that, uses it and beats GORSEK.
So while the defense thinks about KARIC and they start to collapse 2 players toward that end, you send it out wide, and there's Hoggan in a bit of a mismatch experience-wise with a very fast but a still learning John Klein. And Hoggan has taken advantage now of he and Santel.
Hoggan's been around, and he's always been an offensive threat from the midfield. If he's got some time or space, he knows how to set somebody up, as we saw him do in his previous goals.
Well, Dave Hoggan, he's turning it into the Dave Hoggan show with his 3rd goal, and this one will give his team their 2nd lead.
But you're right, the St. Louis defense, obviously, he had sagged over towards KARIC, leaving Klein by himself against Hoggan. Hoggan then set him up, had the time to look up, see that the legs were open, and just toe poked that ball very quickly to the opposite side.
Well, you know that GORSEK's got to be yelling to his defense anytime now he sees Hoggan with the ball. Close on him, because when I said he's got GORSEK's number, I'm not implying it's Jimmy's fault. I thought the first goal maybe that he could have had, but the other 2, Hoggan has done well. But the thing is, the confidence, and Hoggan's going to want to shoot now every time he has the ball, and GORSEK will know that.
Why not?
If it feels right. Here's Fredrickson. St. Louis now down 3-2. Fredrickson, the pass intended back from was off the mark. Here's Santo. Johns gave it up almost right off his own player, Hoskowitz. Right back to Johns. The toe poke ahead to Santo. Chris Sano getting regular duty this year with Cleveland at the back. Now to Hoskeby. Hoskeby holding it. He was on the all-decade team of the Major Soccer League, your first all-decade team. Santo, right side with PIKUZINSKI. Along the boards, looking. It's still loose. And here's Santo. Now to Ingram. Ingram with a pass. Greg Muir, number 4 in white for St. Louis. Across the way, picked up by Santo. And now Duran goes down. They'll let play continue. Duran looking for Pastore. Blocked by Marinaro, playing back there on defense. Yeah, he'll win a film clip of that one. He started his career on defense, and if you listen to our interview at halftime, you'll hear it. Well, that one struck out for Ingram, and that'll give me a chance to tell you what's going on here. It's a 3-2 lead in favor of the Cleveland Crunch over St. Louis. Cleveland, on 3 goals by Dave Hoggan, has that lead, and it started 18 seconds into the game, but give St. Louis credit. On the road, they scored 2 unanswered goals to lead it 2-1 before Cleveland came back with 2 more from Hoggan. Marinaro, who you're looking at there, has not scored. He's worked hard on this one, but it's really been the Dave Hoggan show. And the Crunch hold that 1-goal lead. There's Mr. Hoggan with 5:19 to go. Having a whale of a game already. With Ty Keogh, I'm John Paul Della Camera, and the building is Richfield, Ohio, the Richfield Coliseum, where the Crunch have won 5 straight and 11-12. Hoggan looking, and now Gorsek's got that one. Approaching the 5-minute mark in the first half of play. Now to Hundell. Kevin Hundell to midfield. St. Louis managed to play shorthanded. The way HIRMEZ came out, we may not see him again, but we'll check it out. Right side, Hundell. Off the boards, right to P.J. Johns.
Good hands there by P.J. Johns. Those are really difficult to read off the plexiglass, and it's not that hard to stop them, but you better hold them, which he did.
Preki playing back. Got around a diving Tanner. That was a dangerous tackle. Here's Preki, and it's a 2-minute minor penalty delayed. Here's Preki. They're going to say, I'm sure, that the intent on Tanner, and I don't disagree with it. He went flying. The ball was gone, was it not?
He went after him, both blades out.
I think it's a good call.
Yeah, it's a dangerous play with potentially an intent to injure. This is afterwards when they finally blow the whistle because there was a delay call. They were going to let St. Louis's attack continue as long as they have possession. And Tanner's arguing because he didn't even touch Preki, but he may have very much tried to, and you can't call it. Here's going to be a great angle because Preki dancing past him, and he leaves both his feet, going with both legs, and it can be an intent to injure. It can be very dangerous. And Tanner pulled back slightly at the very end of it because he saw he wasn't going to hit him. And it's a bit harsh. In slow motion, it doesn't look as bad as it did, I'm sure, in regular motion, because it looks like a young Tom Tanner just coming in to rip on Preki with both legs. We'll look at regular motion here. He comes flying in, looking to catch him. And that's what the officials see. He sees a guy going after both of Preki's legs, leaving his feet with a possible intent to injure.
I'll tell you what, the guys who are doing the arguing, if they had the benefit of a monitor like we do, I don't see the argument. Both cleats are up, flying, ball's gone, got to call it.
Yeah, because if Preki can't get out of the way,
got to call it.
He's pinned against those boards, and it could be a career-ending injury.
If there's a referee out there that wouldn't have called that, I don't want to be out there playing.
It takes some guts to call it.
Sure it does.
There's no real contact made.
I agree.
There's no real contact made.
I agree. But it's the intent. You take a punch at somebody and miss, you're still going on. You took the swing. Here's Segota. The top power play in the league is at it again, trying to get the equalizing goal. And it's knocked out of play. And Gino DiPolito, let's see. Michael King and he are having a conversation.
Well, King wants 2 minutes for Cleveland.
You know, before we heard the conversation, I heard Tanner say, I was nowhere near him. But that's not why they called it. It was the intent. But now they're going to bring the ball back. They're going to say he deliberately cleared it out. Delay of game.
There was a similar call in the 1990 World Cup final where an Argentine player was given a red card for going after the German forward, and he never really touched him. It was Rudy Fuller. He got out of the way, but had the connection been made in the tackle, he'd have been injured, no doubt.
Been surgery.
Yep.
KARIC on the restart. Dangerous. Look where it is. Top of the arc. Across the way, Willen misfired. Willen got it right back. Maybe it's the fake. Yeah. They're short-handed. And that would have been a big one. They've not scored shorthanded this year. St. Louis has 3 of them. Clavillo, 1, and Preki with 2. There are the power play goals and the chances for the Storm.
That's awesome. I mean, it really is. It's really helped them in this game already because they were down so early and they were able to tie it. It gave them some momentum.
Look at that pass, and Duran just shot off the post. Segota. What a pass, though, from Preki.
That was there, and Duran did well with it.
Clavillo. I mean, that looked effortless on Preki's part. That's what the great players can do. They can make it look easy. Eck from Segota. Playing it across. Clavillo couldn't trap it. It was an awkward clear, and he just does the best he can, setting it back down. 50 seconds up to the power play. Storm with it. Here's Preki. 3:12 left in the quarter. Cleveland leading at 3-2. Here's Segota. Right across. He was passing for Duran. Clavillo to Duran again. Out from Preki. Holman cutting for Segota. Right back again. Not enough steam out of it, but look what Preki does. The shot, he scores. It's tied. Preki took a pass that was not crisp and gives an assist, actually, to Segota for it.
So much confidence exhibited by the St. Louis power play. They had a few chances where they could have just cracked it. Right here's one of them. Instead, they go for one more pass. Maybe they can get the defense to shift a little bit better. And Preki, just with his individual skills and balance here, does incredibly well to get past King, and look at him pick that corner. Here's Segota, and it was not a great pass, because King just about got a touch to it, but Preki with his great skill wins it anyway, and then strikes it beautifully to that near side corner, beating P.J. Johns. But St. Louis leading up to that had 3-4 different times when a lot of power play units would have tried it, because it was not a bad chance to take. Instead, they have so much confidence to look for the perfect one, because they have guys that can take advantage of even the minutest bad shifts by a penalty-killing unit.
Well, I'm sure you've done this in your soccer camps, teach people to come to the ball. If he waits for this ball, it's not going to come.
He's sunk. In fact, he's stripped of it by King, and King might have a shorthanded goal. But he keeps it alive, and what a finish to it.
Well, they need that kind of leadership from Preki, who gets his 44th goal of the year. I asked Fernando Clavillo about Preki's role as captain, and he said that he's played better as a team player. He doesn't want to sit out for the defensive runner because guys have pride in that. But Preki has done that. He's gone along, and he's also shifted from being the total focus of the set pieces to being a player on it like everyone else, give everyone else more options, and it's made it more effective. More assists than the goal.
And psychologically, it's not as much of a burden to him now. He can pick his chances, and they utilize some of the other talents that some of the younger players do have for St. Louis. They use Preki only when it really counts. Obviously, on the power play, it counts. P.J. Johns now has faced the St. Louis power play twice in this game, and twice St. Louis has come up with big goals, and goals that did change the momentum for him, at least the first time. We'll see whether it does for him this time.
St. Louis ties 7 of the last 9 power play chances they have made. So it's a great weapon. Cleveland's going to stay out of the box. Marinaro. It cost him the other night against Tacoma. KARIC taken down. That was right in front of the official, who I'm sure thought KARIC took himself down. That's usually why a call like that is not made. Whether he dove or not, it's tough to judge from up here, but that was the official's viewpoint.
He did dive, but maybe he was clipped a little bit too.
Here's KARIC across for Santo. Now to Hoskevy. 2:16 to go. There were 28 seconds left on that man advantage. So St. Louis still had plenty of time when the goal was scored. In from PIKUZINSKI. Tried the head of it. GORSEK punched it out. Well, the other night against Tacoma, Cleveland was up 4-2. Rizzi had a penalty called on him. Then there was a second penalty. Tacoma scored 2 on the power play, tied it up, went into overtime, and they ended up losing it. So Trevor Dawkins hopes that they've learned their lesson. Stay out of the box. Restart in front of the Crunch bench. Hoskevy, 2:05 left in the first half. Tied at 3. HOGGAN 3, St. Louis 3. Dave HOGGAN all 3 goals. PIKUZINSKI had to wait up for that. Outside, Santo. Now to KARIC with Marinaro on that threesome attack, and Duran nuts him down. Late whistle, and it came to the official on the far side, Gino DiPolito.
Well, KARIC's got the call either way. He's just on this particular official. Here's Duran. Duran takes up a good position here, but you watch his arm shove all the way across KARIC's body. Now, it's fine to use your shoulder. It's fine to get a good position. As soon as you use the arm, it is a foul.
KARIC on the restart. And a shot, and GORSEK got it, but he took too much time. You're on 5 seconds. That's not going to make Joe Manfred very happy. It's not going to make KARIC happy with Manfred. That's the way I meant to say it. I think KARIC was still arguing, though, from before about the so-called dive, whether he took one or not. More than that, because he did get the call.
And the whistle distinctly went before the shot, which GORSEK saved, but it wouldn't have counted anyway because they were blowing the whistle saying that KARIC had taken too long.
ZORAN KARIC,
the Z-Man, as his teammates call him.
Brilliant career here with Cleveland. That might be the best one-for-one trade in the history of this league. Paul Wright for ZORAN KARIC. Both teams benefited. Both players excelled more than they did in the previous uniform. Both became superstars, and both teams did better.
The league benefited.
Yeah.
Because they are exciting players to watch when they're happy, and KARIC obviously has been happy here, and Paul Wright more than happy in San Diego.
Has to be. Setting it long. Clavillo. Along the boards. Widmar and out. Look at that shift. I thought he was on skates for a moment. Clavillo going long for Ingram. He took it in midair. Tried a volley and just missed it. But a great play by Ingram. Look out the other way. Too far for KARIC. Hundelt is back for it. GORSEK now will give it up to Hundelt. Less than a minute to go. Second quarter. Hector Marinaro, our special guest, coming up at halftime. And we'll show you some of the scoring leaders and an interesting coaches poll that was taken prior to the start of the season. And you'll wonder what the coaches might have been thinking, at least at the start of the season when you see it. Here's Duran in the corner. Tied up by Fernandez, literally. Duran trying to shake free. Fernandez got it loose. Fernandez dropping it back for Hoggan. Hoggan's been on fire with 3 goals got by Duran. Trying to knock it in the corner. Stayed with it. It's deflected up for Duran. Now the Storm, but 2-on-2. 18 seconds left.
Fully committed tacklers out there trying to win that ball at midfield.
It almost looks like they're playing it was the end of the game. They got another half. Here's Marinaro. 8 seconds left. Trying to poke it by Muir. Willen to KARIC. 4 seconds down to 2. KARIC just shot it went wide. And you could barely hear the horn, but Cleveland still had enough time to score. And I've done many a game where they scored just barely beating the horn. And KARIC says, that's it for me. I'm very glad that halftime is here. What a game though this has been. And there's WAAD HIRMEZ, I'm guessing. I'm looking at the monitor. Had to be WAAD HIRMEZ. And no doubt.
Quite a bit of swelling there.
No doubt. A bad ankle problem. He's probably got some ice there. WAAD HIRMEZ and the St. Louis Storm, though, have played well in this one, having trailed early on, 18 seconds into the game, and a HOGGAN goal. And then, after leading, found themselves in the short end by 1 goal as well. But they've come back on a power play goal from Brecky. It's even after 30 minutes. Welcome back, everyone, to Richfield, Ohio. It's a 3-3 tie between St. Louis and Cleveland. And if you joined us late, you missed out on the Dave Hoggan show because Dave Hoggan in this one started off by scoring at the 18-second mark, and he scored 2 more goals afterwards, so Hoggan has all 3 goals. Ty Keogh, strange game in this one. St. Louis didn't want to run, but when they've run, they've been successful, but the power play has really helped them.
An extremely entertaining game because it opened up just end-to-end action, which is surprising because we knew St. Louis wanted to keep it slow. This is their 3rd game in 4 days, but it was back and forth chances. The early goal by the Cleveland Crunch with Dave Hoggan. St. Louis 2 power play goals, as you mentioned. That's what's really kept them in it. They still would want to slow down the pace for the second half.
Well, there are only a few games left in the regular season. In fact, St. Louis only has 1 as we look at our upcoming schedule. Tacoma, Cleveland has beaten them, or has only beaten them once this year. They've lost to them 4 times. San Diego's at St. Louis and Dallas at Wichita on Friday. That's St. Louis' last home game. Then you've got Tacoma at Baltimore on Saturday, Wichita at Cleveland, and then Dallas at San Diego. So Cleveland will close out counting this game with their last 3 at home. And if you want to know how the playoffs will work this year, top 4 teams make it. Team 1 meets 4. Team 2 meets 3. Teams 1 and 2 obviously will have that home field advantage. In the format in the best of 7 will be 2 at home, then 3 away, and then 2 at home. So the home team will start it, and then you've got that swing of 3 games, and then you come back and take on 2. And sometimes that format I disagree with at times because I think it does give an advantage at times to the visitors. If they can sneak 1 of those first games, you've got 3 straight at home. Now, we talked to you before about the coaches poll. Let's see how smart these guys were at the start of the year. But
I don't think those were bad choices. You know, Cleveland and St. Louis looked awesome on paper at the start. Where did things go wrong?
Well, they have the offensive firepower. Currently, St. Louis is the second highest scoring team in the league. Cleveland is the third highest scoring team in the league. Of course, San Diego being number one, and that's why they're really number one in the standings at the moment. But the coaches picked it to finish this way. Previous to the season, one of the biggest factors for St. Louis, Zoltan Toth, the legendary goalkeeper, so many championships in San Diego, under contract to St. Louis, 6 games into the season, retires due to injury problems, and that really has made a huge difference in terms of St. Louis's playoff chances.
Yeah. While that's up, those points reflect the coach's vote. You got so many for a first-place vote, so many for a second-place vote, etc., and only Dallas and San Diego didn't receive, ironically, points for first place. And there's what we have now. San Diego and Dallas. I think Wichita, because of the fact that they were reasonably healthy. I got to say reasonably, because lately Irvine's had some problems, Bohr has had problems, and several others, Chris Pete even. But, you know, when they were healthy for a while, they were in first place.
Well, you know what's great, though? We're only 1 week, really, from the end of the entire season, and St. Louis still has a chance to make a playoff spot. So all of these teams still have a shot at a championship. Of course, it's just mathematical for St. Louis, but you look at the whole scramble that's going on near the bottom of the standings for that final and fourth playoff spot. It's still alive, and it could be next weekend, too.
Follow us, if you will, on this. San Diego's clinched first. Dallas is clinched second. That's it as far as the clinching goes. Cleveland has a magic number of 2 games in order to clinch a playoff spot, but that's only against Baltimore. The magic number is different when it comes to Tacoma, so it's still a mess, but I like it as a fan because why not go down to the last game? It's nervous for players, coaches, and owners, but from a fan standpoint, it's great.
Oh, you love the scramble because there's so many different combinations that could happen because who's away, who's at home, who has won the head-to-head competitions, as you mentioned. So when it goes right down to the wire, that's what a league is looking for. That's what fans are looking for.
And I'll tell you what, I've talked to many San Diego players who have told me, watch out for Cleveland. And why not? Cleveland has beaten San Diego 4 out of 6 times. We talked about that with Hector Marinaro at halftime. That's something. No one else has done that to San Diego.
It gives you some confidence going in because they're the perennial winners. Maybe if you got their number this year, you could take it.
I don't want to say too much more about that interview because that is coming up, and Hector Marinaro has a lot of good things to say about soccer in general. He is a scorer and some of the things that have happened in a major soccer league. That is coming up next. But from here, we'll remind you that at the end of the first half of play, it's a 3-3 tie. The key. We are here at halftime of the Cleveland. Even at 3 apiece, and neither team tie has had more than a 1-goal lead. And just when you think that maybe Cleveland's going to take over, get that thing going, I like that sign. But just when you think they've got something going, here comes St. Louis in the power play, and the momentum's gone. The crowd's back out of it.
That has been the salvation for the St. Louis team, the fact that they're so effective, 2 for 2 in the first half on the power play. Otherwise, it would be the Dave Hoggan show.
Well, he still has another half to continue that show. Turn it into a mini-series. There he is.
The first half hat trick for Dave Hoggan. He's out of Scotland, but he's put some years in this league in Pittsburgh, in Tacoma, and Wichita. Settled in nicely here in Cleveland. A good support player, really, for Marinaro and KARIC.
Came back from a broken neck in a car accident. I really admire him. They thought he'd never play again, and even have a hard time just adjusting. But here he is, back playing better than ever. Darryl Duran with it. Second half underway. St. Louis in white with the ball. Tied at 3. With Ty Keel on John Paul Dellacamera. Hope you're enjoying today's action. Here comes Tenek. Got free from Tanner. And with a shot. A diving save for P.J. Johns. Duran. Number 7 in white. Good pass. And save Johns. It's loose. Oh, Tenek trying to kick that ball through. Great effort. Here's Preki. Still in the first minute and a half, and Preki will score. Preki scores the goal. The Crunch defense never really adjusted to the Duran combination.
Could you see that coming, or what? Cleveland out here watching St. Louis play, and then the ball pops out onto guess whose feet, and he knows what to do. Look at the left-footed swerving ball tucked around P.J. Johns. He sets up Willen, and the ball, it's not a full stroke even by Preki. He just pops it hard enough to get it in behind P.J. Johns, and the curve, the swerve on that ball made it find that far corner and leave P.J. Johns no chance for it.
He told me before the game, I said, are you tired? He said, oh yeah. He doesn't look it, but even he, as a tired player, is better than most. Here's KARIC. A chance! Off the post, rebound, score! Willard! going to let anyone get momentum.
Well, and if you're going to look for a possible reason why St. Louis, although they were picked to be second in the league in the preseason coaches poll, why they languished in the basement almost the entire year is mental concentration. They've just taken an important lead, and now they give up this quick goal. It's all for naught, and it's KARIC splitting the legs of Hundell. Tanner misses. Willen really worked hard to follow it up. I think Willen was trying to make up for the fact that he was the player beaten by Preki on the previous goal, so a lot of emotion there for Greg Willen. But St. Louis, having taken the upper hand, let's go of it that easily.
That goal comes 13 seconds after St. Louis scored the goal. Pastoral with it. It's even at 4. Godfrey Ingram on the run by Pikuzinski. Pikuzinski stays right with him. Ingram holding it. Off the boards, open man. Pastoral missed the header by inches. And then John saves up Clavijo. I want to see what happens if anybody dares to get a 2-goal lead. Will that be enough in this one? Who knows? Blocked by Willen. And as Hundell tried to run by, I think Pastoral was holding Willen. Greg Willen has 12 goals on the year, and that one was an important one because St. Louis had scored what we both thought was a very important and significant goal.
A complete psychological turnaround, and the crowd's back in it.
A little holding going on here as King first tried to get by and then went down. That was a double team. ZORAN having a sensational year. 24 goals on the year for Darren. Had 17 all of last year.
And he played a lot of the year as a defender.
Has 5 power play goals. Here's GORSEK. Now to Greg Muir. Even at 4. 13 minutes to go. Third quarter. Pastoral holding it against Hoskevich. Pikuzinski across the way. Hoskevich strong header. King. 3 on 4. St. Louis hustling back. Across the way to Santo. Santo holding. Michael King in the neutral zone. Pikuzinski with an Octomar tackled away by Ingram. Look out for King. He fires it wide and missed on the header to keep it going.
Nearly broke the boards.
King and Frederickson pusher went out. Haskell will score through a screen.
The old man can still do it, and he's soaking it up here. What a hero he's been for the Cleveland indoor soccer fans over the years. And this one, he was given so much time out at the top there at the right point. He's got all the time in the world to collect the ball, look up, and watch the way he strikes his ball with the toe so that it really dances and changes direction. And it fools GORSEK completely, who didn't have a great look at it in the first place because of some of the traffic out in front of him. But it's the manner in which he strikes the ball that allows it to squeeze past GORSEK. He can't get a handle on it.
You know, when you saw it live, I thought he just lost the ball. That second look that we had, that ball danced. Well, Hoskevich right beside the man that replaced him as head coach. And, you know, earlier this year there were rumors that Trevor Dawkins might have been replaced because Cleveland was not playing up to their potential. Those turned out to be just rumors, but some people fairly close said that there was some talk. Here's Hoggan. KARIC. And GORSEK is right there. Santel coming back the other way. And the Crunch lead at 5-4. Preki holding it. Picked up by Tanner. ZORAN just comes out now for St. Louis. St. Louis trying to win this one so as not to be mathematically eliminated from their slip playoff chances. They'll play San Diego on Friday night in St. Louis. Muir leaving it off to Preki. ZORAN in the overlap. We'll have that game for you Friday night right here on Sports Channel America in front of what should be a great crowd in St. Louis. Still the league's best drawing team and looking for 11,000+ to boost their average to over 10. Here's KARIC. Blocked by Muir. Fernandez tees it up. Save GORSEK. And with Marinaro screening in front, I don't know when Big Jim saw that one. I'm guessing the last instant. Segota dumps KARIC, ex-teammates in San Diego. Now, speaking of St. Louis, they had 16,000 the other night, a franchise record, 16 plus.
They've had 8 games this season over 10,000.
Off a deflection, Marinaro looking for it. Sends it out to Fernandez. Wants to settle. Tees it in wide. GORSEK left puts it out. 5-4 Cleveland. There was 3-3 at the end of the half.
St. Louis still drawing well at home, as you mentioned, and still suiting up 5 St. Louis natives in the team regularly.
Blocked by GORSEK on KARIC. Willis. Great job to beat Clevejo. KARIC. Shot off the crossbar. He can't believe it. And St. Louis clears it out. How about the step Willis move? He must have been watching KARIC all year. He's had the benefit of playing against him at
St.
practice.
Louis under heavy pressure here, and the fatigue could be setting in. Their 3rd game in 4 days.
HOGGAN blocked by Cleveland. Cleveland is starting to sense that, and they're going for the jugular.
And you remember how fast that opening quarter was. It used up a lot of what St. Louis might have brought into here.
Corrected. Releases to Santel. X3 on the left wing. Santel tried to bend it across. Couldn't do it. You know that's what he wanted to do. It was a tough play to make. KARIC. Now to HOGGAN. 9:47 left. 3rd quarter. We still have another one to come your way. And Cleveland leads it 5-4. KARIC with X marking here. Hoskevy has the go-ahead goal. Now it's KARIC. For Santa. Right back. KARIC has a little room. Marinaro. Blocked. Loose ball and Frederiksen clears it out.
Frederiksen saved the goal, and he is the 2nd all-time leading shot blocker in this league, over 900.
And we've got a stoppage in play and timeout on the floor. As fast now as it was at the start of the game, and that benefits the team on top, Cleveland. I had to do that a couple times.
How'd you like to feel the dust between your teeth while you were trying to describe the action?
Thank you for that pleasant thought. 5-4, Cleveland 10. Give the building credit for getting the building in shape. That's the dirty event, I guess, is the best way to call it. Here's Greg Muir on the right side to Duran. 5-4, Cleveland on top. Frederiksen headed away by Hoskevy. Muir looks for Ingram in the corner. Off the deflection, but Johns is there. Hoskevy, so smart when he's playing at the back positionally.
So strong, too, with his low center of gravity. 36 years old, in his 12th season in the league, doing it defensively and coming up with an important goal just a few moments ago.
GORSEK. Now back for Hoskevy. In the neutral zone. Look at how much space those St. Louis is giving. They can't afford high pressure here.
They can't run with them because their legs are gone. Got to look for the counterattack.
Santo, broken up by Frederiksen. Here's Clevejo, who could run all day and night if he had to. Pass door. Right footer, deflected wide. Unlucky for St. Louis because Johns is down and out with that deflection. If it bends the other way, it's a tying goal. Michael King behind the defense. I heard a whistle from the stands, apparently. Marinaro waits for Will on the joiner. 7:56 to go in the 3rd quarter. Cleveland up 5-4. PIKUZINSKI in the corner. Taken down. Foul is on Clevejo.
And again, St. Louis has been vulnerable on these set pieces where they're defending. They looked a little sharper in the 1st half because they really pounced on the ball. They attacked the ball, and that's the key here.
GORSEK very vocal, telling his players where to go. He's got to see the ball. KARIC will put it in play. Right on Marinaro, the shot, great block again. Frederiksen, well timed, because it was all set up the way they wanted it, just the way it was designed. Give Marinaro that free shot. KARIC. Broken up, and Marinaro kept it alive to King. Right back, doesn't get there. King working at it, took down Hundell. But you can see Cleveland has picked up in their intensity, at least certainly time from an offensive standpoint.
The goal from Hoskevy, the fact that St. Louis is collapsing back and playing a little bit more of a defensive type shell to conserve their energy, has allowed Cleveland to gain that confidence to go forward and run directly at the St. Louis defense.
Here's Duran. Now to pass door for Segota. to Hundell. Duran heading it down, wanted Segota. A late read on Segota's part, or so it appeared. Hundell with a shot wide. Duran muscling Johns as it goes out of play.
And frankly, Segota not as energetic as usual looking for those spots. He's feeling the back problem that he's been fighting over the last few weeks.
Cleveland leading it by the score of 5-4. They're in the red and black uniforms. St. Louis in white. It's been a close game all the way. Hoggan, the offensive star, with 3 goals. And so far in this third quarter, after a 3-3 tie, we saw 2 goals in 56 seconds and 3 in 2:36. With Ty Keel, I'm John Paul Della Camera. Preki on the restart here for St. Louis. Trying to get the Storm the tying goal. Segota shot it wide. Right back towards Segota. Hundell for the whistle. Foul on St. Louis, so it goes the other way. Hope you're enjoying all of today's action here on Sports Channel America. We've got another game on Friday, and then later on we'll have the Major Soccer League playoffs. Some playoff action to come your way. Dates and times to be determined and announced. We've got a timeout again on the floor. 7:03 remaining, but it's still only in the third quarter. Crunch are up by 1. Hoskeby's goal, the go-ahead one. The telecast is presented by the authority of the Major Soccer League and Soccer USA partners and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Major Soccer League and Soccer USA partners is prohibited. Dave Hoggan with it. They're doing the wave here in Cleveland. The crowd wanting to stay with this one and see if they can help Cleveland get something they've not had in this one, and that's a 2-goal lead. Neither team has had that.
It looks pretty good for Cleveland in terms of the playoffs. They have 2 more games remaining, both of them at home after this one. And with these nice crowds, and they've been playing so well here, it's got to be in their favor.
Kane banging along the boards. Both of these teams are used to close games. You know, Cleveland's last 3 have all been in overtime and all decided by 1 goal.
Well, neither of these 2 teams have had any problems scoring goals during the season. They both average over 6 goals per game.
Yeah.
So it may come down to here who can really get organized and not give up bad goals.
Or like in the Duke-Kentucky game last night in basketball, who gets the ball last? Who here takes the last shot?
Whether it's Preki or whether it's KARIC, it might be a good call. Or Hoggan tonight.
He lets it go for King, and it's blocked. St. Louis in their last 6 games to continue on that 1-goal tirade. They've had 4 1-goal games, and a couple of those have been on the road. Frederickson setting it long for Preki. Cleveland up by 1. Preki, number 11 in white. And he's put on a great show again today here in Richfield, Ohio, and he draws the foul.
And Trevor Dawkins has matched up Tanner almost the entire game with Preki. Tanner, first-year player in the league, quite a challenge to try and contain a player like Preki. But Tanner has so much quickness, it's Trevor Dawkins' judgment that he's the only one that might be able to hang right in there with Preki's quick moves and change of pace.
But you'll more than likely see help no matter which way Preki goes. Let's see here if we do. He's got to cut to the middle. Look at that. 2 players. There's a breakaway. Michael King, Clevio on the chase. Off the board. GORSEK made the play. King punched him. Out. I thought that would have been 2 minutes. And so did Clevio. What do you think, partner?
A hard hit by King. I don't know that he really could have stopped. But we see Cleveland effectively defending against Preki to start the break. And now here's King. Clevio really recovering well. Forces the ball to the side. Here's GORSEK. He's playing the ball entirely. And there's King coming in just a little bit late and using the elbow into the side of the head for GORSEK. So a real solid hit. And pretty much deliberately, King had come all the way that far. He was going to try and make sure he at least got some type of satisfaction. He couldn't get to the ball. So instead he goes after GORSEK. And it would have been hard for him to stop completely because his momentum is carrying him in that direction so strongly, but he didn't need to put the elbow out, and he could have probably slowed up a bit.
Yeah, I agree, but I think it's 2 minutes. Here's Ingram coming back the other way. Well, if GORSEK didn't get his wake-up call at the hotel, he got it there. Actually, he got it when Hoggan scored 18 seconds in. Here's that. Looking, giving, Ingram save. P.J. Johns. A face save. Look at this. Marinello's open. He settles it. Chipping it too high. I say settles it. I should correct it. Somewhat settles it. You couldn't settle that ball.
No, in fact, he wanted to keep it bouncing because he was thinking GORSEK was off his line, but heavy pressure from behind by Muir. There's the great early ball by Hoggan in behind the St. Louis defense. Here's Marinaro. He does have it under full control, even though Muir's all over him. He has to hurry it, feeling the footsteps of Muir. And when you're going that fast, it's hard to take enough off of the ball to really have it float over the top of the keeper and still come down under the crossbar.
His brother was drafted by the Crunch. He's a goalkeeper from Clemson and will be in the Crunch camp, we're told, next season. A long pass down the left side. Santos chasing it with Pastor. And Johns pushed by Ingram.
Ingram, a player who saw almost no time on the carpet when Popovic was the coach. Clavijo bringing him on. Still not a regular shift, but he's getting a few chances out here, and he's still got the knack to be able to beat people, blazing speed, and an experienced goal scorer in this league.
Hoggan, who was his ex-teammate in Pittsburgh, slows it down for Hoskeby. Now to KARIC. Great move to fake out Muir. He's got Marinaro free. The pass, the shot, the save. Textbook, everything except it doesn't go in. Good job, Jim GORSEK, to stay with that.
GORSEK slid across, trying to cover as much as the goal as he could, but normally KARIC and Marinaro finish those off.
GORSEK sending it upfield to Fredrickson. The Pastor. Hoskeby nudging it. Pastor stays with it. Great job.
Hoskeby should have put a saddle on it.
Nobody's back. Marinaro looking with GORSEK off the boards. It's over and KARIC scores!
Well, they missed on their chance just before the opposite combination. This time, though, it's Marinaro doing the work over in the corner to win the ball. It's out in front to KARIC. The goal is not being protected by GORSEK. He's been caught. An excellent long throw with the spin on it from Johns to KARIC. A nice little touch. There's the race of the ball. That's why GORSEK's out. Marinaro forces it off the board. KARIC then buries it, drives it past a couple of St. Louis defenders who are trying to cover up. But that opens up the 2-goal lead for the first time for any team in this game. Cleveland up 6-4.
Think about how much defensive running St. Louis has had to do over the last 3 minutes chasing, and we've made reference. The 2-on-1 players at the back. Marinaro had to break Michael King on the breakaway. It's a lot of running. Right now they're tired. How do they get the legs back other than to score a goal that will make you feel a little bit?
And GORSEK, feeling that he didn't have much help, felt he had to come out there and got caught out.
Frankie, couple of cuts. Now Clavijo plays it back. Yeah, St. Louis needs a goal to get them right back in and take this crowd out. This crowd is in a festive mood right now. Clavijo, now to Hoggan. Looking for Pastor. Duran cracks it. Great save, John. Duran shot his label.
And it was on target.
Willen knocks it ahead. It was just behind O'Tanner. He would have been off. PIKUZINSKI. Knocking it back to Fernandez. Now to King. Over the line. Michael King. PIKUZINSKI knocked it back. Never got there. Crunch up to hustle back. Segota leading it. And he's tripped up by Willen. But you can see that Segota's now running. He's almost lumbering. That back has to bother him. Here's Marinaro. KARIC tees it up base. Shot score! What a goal, KARIC! The floodgates are opening.
Well, we've been very fortunate today to see the #1 and #2 scorers in the league really put on a show. And watch this move by KARIC. He gets everybody going the other way. Complete control, using the sole of his feet. And does he know how to pick a corner? What placement on the shot. And it's setting him up as Marinaro, who got the entire St. Louis defense to come to one side, then got it to KARIC. And that's just great, skillful soccer, great attacking abilities by one of the top scorers in the league. Of course, KARIC and Preki are fighting it out for the scoring championship in the MSL, and they're doing it right before our eyes.
It's like the ball was on a string the way he brought it back.
Great body control to keep your balance when you're manipulating the ball that way.
I have to think It's like a running back that has a good lateral movement. You think he stopped, and then he goes in another gear sideways.
He can explode in the other direction.
Here's Ingram. The shot for a screen. Here's Zach, the rebound too high. Hoggan clears it up. St. Louis really has to be careful now. They're still alive in this game. It's a 3-goal lead. We've got another quarter to go.
But they're on life support in this game and in terms of their season playoff hopes.
Clavijo. Taken down. The reason that's called, it might be a little late, but there would have been an advantage going the other way.
Clavijo would like a 2-minute call, or even perhaps a shootout, because he was breaking through. Would have had a clear chance to shoot. There were still some defenders around, but it's just a free kick.
He would have had him in the Christmas season, though, to get the shootout.
Maybe at a home game.
In his home of Uruguay, his old home.
He's been American since '87 and plays for the U.S. team now.
Great. Right footed by Segota. Clavijo looking. Back off the board. Clavijo's got a dilemma. Being a player coach affects him right now with the national team.
Can't miss a game now. With your club team to play with the national team.
Brecky and Marinaro. Brecky plays it up. Look at that. Trying to leave it off. Now here's to Durant. Trying to find Brecky. That's wide. Johns. KARIC with a fake to give it a high. Santo. KARIC. He wanted PIKUZINSKI to break a different way. That would have looked pretty if it worked.
You know what's great here? Look for Brecky to do a few things here. Obviously, because he's a great player and he's a great pro, he wants to help his team. But he also knows he's in that scoring race with KARIC. He's just scored 2 quick goals for Cleveland.
Muir giving it up to Santel. Back to Jim GORSEK. Hoskevy. Now it chases it. Hoskevy stays with it. They've got Hoskevy apparently in a foul.
This is good indoor soccer. We're seeing a little bit of everything. Some good goaltending. Some great attacking soccer. The top 3 scorers in the league here today.
Hideout too high and wide. Along the left side. Our shot clock and our overall clock, game clock, on the lower portion of your screen, we've got it down to 1/10 of a second. The lip reader's just got a real treat. George Fernandez trying to win another championship rainbow with a different team. Won a few at San Diego.
They came about as close as you can last year. Cleveland making the championship final, only to fall to San Diego.
KARIC dropped the boards, and you heard Marinaro at halftime say he thinks that's one of the reasons for their success this year. They proved they could beat them last year in a championship series, at least in a game or two. Here's Durant. Hoskevy stolen. With PIKUZINSKI. 2-on-2. The pass. Save. GORSEK. Hoskevy trying to have PIKUZINSKI's streak continue in terms of goal scoring. He's got it at 8 right now. Marinaro has the record for the team with 9 as the quarter comes to an end. And what a quarter this was for Cleveland. We saw them score 4 unanswered goals after Brecky scored first to give St. Louis a go-ahead goal. 7-4 is your score. The Crunch. We still have 1 more quarter to play here in Richfield, Ohio.
WrestleMania is coming at you live.
Well, I've seen way too many indoor soccer games, Ty Keogh, to say everybody can go home now and this one's over. Cleveland, though, is obviously in the driver's seat. How does St. Louis, we know they're tired, get back?
Well, comebacks are the norm in the MSL, and particularly in our telecasts. Yeah. But right now, St. Louis is really looking at a difficult climb out of this one. We see Dave HOGGAN, who had a first-half hat trick. He really helped get his team started today. Fernando Clavijo trying to inspire his players. He's serving the role as player, coach, and a guy who you'll fight for. You see the fight in the St. Louis team. They might do it. They might do it, but they're going to have a tough way to go. They're up against a very partisan crowd here, and they're up against some star attacking players in this league. KARIC right up at the top with Brecky and Marinaro, the 3rd leading scorer in the league, playing for Cleveland, and they look like they're just starting to get on fire.
And let's remember that they're playing without HIRMEZ as well, who injured his ankle in the first half. It's Cleveland leading over St. Louis 7-4. Hector Marinaro wearing the red and black of Cleveland, trying to inspire the fans here like his team has inspired them for a good part of the day. Dave Hoggan with 3 goals has been the leader for Cleveland. KARIC has gotten the last 2, but how about Preki? A pair of goals. He also has a couple of assists on the day. It's been a great show. We teased you at the top about offense in this one. 4 of the top scorers in this league, and they've not disappointed. So Cleveland leads at 7-4 with Ty Keogh on John Paul Della Camera. We have at least 1 more quarter to go, and maybe overtime the way these 2 clubs have played lately.
Well, and as we've seen in the past, if a team goes to the 6th attacker, it changes the game completely.
That graphic doesn't look as good for St. Louis, but you know, that's a trend all year we go by it. But when you go back down to 1 game left, 2 games left,
and this is survival for St. Louis in terms of the playoffs.
They lose, they're out. Here's Hoskovy, who scored a very important goal to put the team on top at that time by 1 at 5-4. So here in the 4th quarter, St. Louis has to score first. They cannot afford to give one up the other way. Santo. Back the other way to P.J. Johns. On the right side. Santo holding. Now back again to Hoskovy. They look long for KARIC. And now back for Gino DeFlorio.
Very deliberate in their setup of the attack. No big hurry for Cleveland here. They have the 3-goal lead. Supposed to come out a little bit and run at him to open some space up.
P.J. Johns coming out. We talked about the HIRMEZ injury when he went out with that twisted ankle. Really, it set them a man down. So somebody, or others, not necessarily one, has had to take that rollover. Forgetting about the good shot he has, the fact that he already scored a goal. It's just another body when you're tired, especially. Right back to GORSEK.
Cleveland, of course, playing without Chico Moreira, who had surgery recently on his Achilles tendon. He's out for the season. Andy Schmetzer being bothered by a sprained arch in his left foot. Did not suit up today for Cleveland. And he's a good player out of the midfield, too.
In the corner, Hundal. And now KARIC. Marco Rizzi is dressed for the game, but he's not playing. He's been bothered by a knee problem.
He played a couple of early shifts. Not seen him at all in the second half.
Here's that, but it's right at John. I didn't even see him then. First quarter. Here's Hoskovy. Waiting now for the team to change up. Came back from anterior cruciate surgery. A lot of people thought he'd never come back and play. But, you know, when you love the game, it really doesn't matter what age. If you love the game and you still think you've got the ability, as obviously he does, the hardest part is that mental rehab, I think.
Yeah, positionally, he's so good. Strategically, he's so good. In times, when it's time to hurry up and take a quick free kick, perhaps now. When it's time to settle the play down, the guy sees everything so well, and it's such a stabilizing force for Cleveland.
Clevio heads it out of play. Tanner didn't like the way he was treated there. He's upset. What a great rookie year he has had. He's one of the leading candidates for Rookie of the Year. Clevio, number 21, who will watch the foul.
The double arm shove by Clevio. Clevio smiling, knowing what the call is going to be.
The thing that hurts worse, I think, is because you don't know it's coming. Here's a shot in deflection. KARIC has got the hat trick. Had to wait and see who that was.
That happened so quickly.
Again, off the restarts where St. Louis has struggled.
And they're exhausted, St. Louis, mentally and physically. Cleveland takes advantage of it and strikes on the set piece.
Cleveland threatening to run away with this one here. They are now doubling the storm, 8-4.
Why should you change phone?
The Marinaro-KARIC duo has really connected here on the last 3 goals. They've been the tandem, and it's been the same guy who has done most of the work. Marinaro helping to set them up, and KARIC finishing. They're calling this one unassisted, but KARIC, I thought it touched it.
Well, it may have hit the defender next to KARIC. In other words, the defender that was chasing KARIC, trying to keep him away, I think it did go off. Went off of somebody. But Marinaro is given credit for the goal, despite the fact that KARIC was there and practically forced it in.
Well, we'll go by the official score. and give it to Marinaro for his 48th of the year. That's why they would call it unassisted.
That's why I said it happened so quickly. I didn't see how KARIC could have gotten there, but I think it went in off of the defender near him.
From my angle, I would have thought KARIC for sure. Look out in Clark, but GORSEK is right there. St. Louis down 8-4 on the road. Mark Santel cutting to the outside. Off the boards. Look it up. PIKUZINSKI. Marinaro, by the way, has extended his scoring streak now to 16 games. Preki to 27. KARIC to 28. Ingram wide. Eck rebounding it. Off the boards. That's why. Frederiksen looking to settle. And Johns is right there. 11:45 to go. Fourth quarter. HOGGAN with 3 goals. He's been the spark. KARIC has a pair. Preki 2 for the trailing Storm. Here's ZORAN. Muir, the shot was deflected off Fernandez. He's stunned. Oh, he's really stunned.
He's still staggering.
Now it's Willen along the boards. Looked like he took that one in the jaw area. Now Eck. Fernandez all right now, at least to defend against Ingram. And Fernandez goes down with Ingram as Durant takes it. 155th straight game for Durant. He's never missed as a Storm player. Regular season and playoffs. Honda to Muir. Under 11 minutes to play. Storm on the attack with Eck trying to continue their season at least to the final game. HOGGAN almost went right through. Here's a rebound for Eck. Another one. Johns is there. And they've got a dangerous play, I thought, on Eck. Or at least a foul. Here comes Fernandez. A lot of room. St. Louis trying to change up here. Marinaro bending it is blocked. KARIC drops it off for Hector Marinaro.
Knows right where he is.
Marinaro said something funny at halftime. He said, Jordan and I communicated so well. Well, actually, we didn't communicate. He said, we hardly ever spoke, but we knew where each other was on the field. But that is communication in a different sense.
They know what they're looking for.
Right. KARIC was looking for that, but it's too long. That's a form of communication, almost an instinct to know where the other guy's going to be. So much so that they didn't have to talk. Honda. Now to Preki. Clavijo. Under 10 minutes left. Couple of side steps. Didn't have enough on the shot. Made a nice couple of moves, though. Johns with the toss. A final. Baltimore has beaten Dallas. There comes DeFlorio. The shot, a great save for Jimmy GORSEK. What that does is that it means that Cleveland couldn't have clinched a spot today anyway against Baltimore, couldn't have eliminated Baltimore because the Blast win at home. So it's going to go down to the end, as we thought.
Keeps it alive.
P.J. Johns with it. On the long throw. DeFlorio couldn't outrun Honda.
And St. Louis facing playoff extinction here. They've had the great crowds, and so there's a lot of hope.
Santel still with that speed down the right wing. Marinaro got free. Preki's got a long chase back. Marinaro turns it up a notch. PIKUZINSKI, saved by GORSEK. Got a hand on it just barely, but there's the difference. Marinaro put it into 2 other gears, and St. Louis shoved it to try to get back. Koskinen with a knock. PIKUZINSKI trying to head it forward. That was dangerous for both players. Muir.
There's a lot of hope in St. Louis because of the big crowds, new local ownership, that the team will be back and to be able to please those fans with this entertaining team. They score a lot of goals, but they've come out on the bottom of the league.
Here comes DeFlorio. Across the line. DeFlorio across. Try it again. Instead, he was going to give it to Fernandez. Whistles everywhere. Muir knocked down KARIC. That was the initial foul. Well, KARIC is applauding. He doesn't mind the hard hit.
Well, Muir has to be determined to try and stop KARIC, such a great attacking player. He just unceremoniously dumps into the strip. You see the resolve on Muir's face because he has to look to any tool he can find to try and stop KARIC.
Feel like a rope right about now. or a big wall in front of him. It's a two-man wall for KARIC. Right across. A couple of toe pokes, but no goal. Down to almost 8 minutes, and that's it. St. Louis needs the big comeback here. KARIC with Duran. Darrell stays right with him. Now to Eck. Right side Ingram. Eck with a shot, just missed off the inside of the post. Another one. Oh, Eck's going to fight it. Not just this game, this season.
He had John's beat on that one that hit the post.
Clavio stood in the way and won that one. Fine. Now to Ingram. Right side. A chance for Hundell. In the corner to Eck. Stopped by Johns.
Johns has played a tough game. Other than Victor Nogueira, there's no one that has quite as much range as he does and able to stretch his body all the way across the goal, and it saved him a couple times today.
Well, he just hurt his right shoulder again, the way he was grimacing. Here's HOGGAN trying to come back, and that's broken up. As he released that ball, that shoulder was hurting. Ingram. Of course, if something would happen to him here, they've got Ottawa dressed for this game, and in many cases, especially this year, we've got a timeout by GORSEK. In many cases this year, teams are not dressing too, so if you lose the goalkeeper, a field player goes in. My gut feeling is that you see the sixth attacker, and that's the reason for the timeout, is P.J. Johns has had a pretty busy game. Not as busy as the San Diego game, where he had to make some 18 saves in the first half of play. 8-4, Cleveland with the lead. St. Louis will give it one last effort when we come back. Of upcoming games on the weekend. Friday, Tacoma's right here in Cleveland. San Diego visits St. Louis, and Dallas goes to Wichita. Never an easy place to win. Saturday, Tacoma travels to Baltimore. Wichita's in Cleveland, and Dallas is at San Diego. And that will end it for the regular season. We've got another televised game, though, for your regular season. San Diego at St. Louis next Friday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and I'd love to see the same kind of a crowd that was there on Friday night, better than 60. There's your sixth attacker. Remember the last time we saw him on a televised game, sixth attacker? He almost separated his body from the goalpost, even though game was over by most people's accounts, not in his accounts.
Fernando Clavijo is always only known one way to play, with total commitment. One of the top professionals in this league, one of the top professionals on the U.S. national team.
He told me earlier today he's enjoying the coaching. He really is. But he still wants to play. You can hear it in his voice. You can see it in his actions. If they offered him a playing coach job next year, my gut feeling is he'd take it. It's a gut feeling. If it was player coach, if they just say, coach, don't play,
think about it.
I don't think he's going to do it. And it's a gut feeling. He did not tell me that directly. It's a gut feeling. I think he'd still like to play for the national team as well. But tell you, I wouldn't quit if I could play like this right now.
We've already seen that he has a real emotional connection with his players, with his teammates, because he is the player coach.
Trevor Dawkins hopes he doesn't have too much more emotion going for him today.
Trevor was an outstanding player in the English First Division in his day with West Ham and Crystal Palace, so he's been through a few of these wars.
Coach of the year last year, Greg Willen, arguing about the call. Not too much. He's already leading to the Major Soccer League in penalty minutes. He's trying to stay out of the box today. 6:34 to play in the game. 8-4 is the score. St. Louis is down by 4 goals. Here's Segota. The shot, oh, a blast, and it was saved by Johns
after it was deflected, which makes it that much of a tougher save for Johns. But as we mentioned, he's about 6'3". He's got more range than most of the keepers in the league. He was able to get up there and punch it away with both fists after the deflection, which it's hard to read those.
Segota will have a kick in from the far side. Brecky ready. If it's going to go there, and it does. The shot saved. Johns right at him on the short side. This is going long, but wide. Clavijo chasing it. In that last televised game, they scored a goal so quick, but they weren't down by 4. As I recall, it was 3, then they got 1, and then they pulled Clavijo, went back to GORSEK. But here, even if they score, they're more likely to keep Clavijo out there, you would think. Pastor to Duran. Now it's Brecky. Clavijo to Segota. Right across, blocked by Fernandez. Here's DeFlorio. to Tanner, the rookie. No.
It's hard to resist that open goal, even though it's at the other end.
Tempted. Tanner, blocked by Carrillo. Apparently it didn't go out. I thought it went off someone on Cleveland.
Well, the Cleveland players are claiming, I think it did. I thought it hit somebody on the Cleveland bench, and I thought it went off McClavijo, but they're going to call it in favor of St. Louis. So Clavijo, lucky either way that they let it play on. St. Louis still had possession. If they stop it, they're giving him the possession anyway. You'll see that it goes off of Clavijo, off the boards.
Off Marino's chest, I thought. Even with the replay, it's hard sometimes. Here's Preki. 5:35 left in the game. St. Louis 4 goals away from a tie and at least a continuation of their mathematical chance at a playoff spot. Segota right across, but it's behind Duran. On the 6th attacker, that's where you need your most energy. Even though you're up by a man, let's see if St. Louis has it. Back in the corner. Playing it back to Preki. Solid work there. Preki and the pass across. Segota has to wait. Clavijo. Very patient, maybe too patient. Here's Preki with a shot. It was bending in. Fernandez blocked out.
If you force it, it doesn't work out, though. You could be giving up one at the other end.
I agree with that. But that was, it seemed like a minute. It was probably less. Here's that. Without a shot, maybe 40 seconds or so.
Go back.
Along the boards, Clavijo, great job to stick in and win. Broken up by Fernandez to Pikuzinski. They're trying to set up Pikuzinski, actually, to help them continue that goal streak if they can with the empty net.
But to St. Louis's credit, you have to get them one at a time. You can't just try and hit a barrage, a flurry of shots, and try and force it in.
St. Louis with the ball. They trail at 8-4. They've got Clavijo with the yellow shirt. He's the 6th attacker. Cleveland had a great third quarter, scored 4 unanswered goals to take the big lead. Preki in the corner to right. Segota. Now to Preki. Coming up later on, don't forget, we'll have our blind player of the game. And that's going to be a close one. Here's Preki. Coming back the other way. Now to Clavijo. Preki. Holding it. Working it around. Pass door. Now to Duran. Preki looking now to Clavijo. Foul called on Tanner. And Clavijo knows time's running out.
Rush foul is on the ring.
Segota holding, and that's blocked. They still maintain possession, though. They're doing well with that.
St. Louis having the yellow jersey also on Godfrey Ingram to give Clavijo a breather.
Good idea. Pass in, intended for Duran. DeFlorio will clear it out.
So Godfrey Ingram will get some fitness work here, going down to the other end to retrieve those clearances by the Cleveland defense. But just 3 minutes remaining, a 4-goal deficit for St. Louis on the 6th attacker. They're not really threatened.
Right side, the shot is right at P.J. John. Cleveland, I think, wants a timeout. Yeah. They want a timeout to discuss the situation. They know that they've got this game, but they probably don't like the fact that it's a fresh 6th attacker in Ingram. And you may see Clavijo come back because all he really wanted was a breather, but it's a smart idea. You've got to have another jersey on someone because you've got to be fully in that uniform for a legal change to take place. If you come out on the floor and that jersey's half on, half off, it's a penalty for too many men. And we've seen that called, not lately, but in the past. I think people pay better attention to it. We hope you'll join us next Friday right here on Sports Channel America when the San Diego Sockers, the first place team, take on the St. Louis Storm. And whether or not that game means anything to St. Louis or not, it means jobs for them for next year. Of course, they're looking, as you had alluded to before, for some more owners in St. Louis, some more local control of the ownership, and San Diego trying to fine-tune for the upcoming playoffs and trying to make it, I guess, what, 5 straight championships? You know, if it's not in front of me, you forget they've won almost all the time.
The St. Louis team, too, really will want to play for their great fans.
Yeah.
I mean, they are the last place team in the league, and they've outdrawn. The people have come out for this team week after week after week. They will average over 10,000 per game this season.
I can't imagine soccer not being in St. Louis the way they've really revived that franchise. We've got the chance to tell you about our Brian player of the game, and Brian is the power behind the game, and we may have teased you a little bit by that close-up on the bench. You're looking at Dave Hoggan, our player of the game today, our Brian player of the game. 3 goals today, his 5th hat trick, but not just 3 goals because somebody else made it with 3. It's the way they were scored, what he meant to the team, the emotional lift. He did it all. Off Clavijo. Marinaro stays with it. A chance, and he scores! Marinaro. Give him 49 on the year. And if there was any doubt about this one, and there wasn't, that should seal it.
Well, you've got to like Cleveland's chances. Obviously, they still haven't made the playoffs, but if they could get the type of performances out of Marinaro, out of Hoggan, out of KARIC that you're seeing here, really a good fight in the air duel there by Marinaro to win the ball. Clavijo's good in the air. Marinaro beats him and then follows it up there with that finish against the 6th attacker, but it's still hard work. Look at this air duel here between the two of them. Clavijo's one of the better players in the air in the country. With the national team, he plays in the back and does well in the air. But look at the nice little air dribble by Marinaro to get himself another goal to keep him right up there in that scoring race along with Preki and KARIC.
Durant on a knock ahead. Pastor settling it down for Preki. Preki's still trying to create a little more magic, but his team is down 9-4.
And not much left in his legs, really, as much as he put in today. And he told us he was tired before the game because of the hard schedule.
Marinaro looking for the hat trick, and he scores. And I think he gave Clavijo a break when he let that one go. He kind of eased up on that one. He wanted to score, but he eased up.
Just put it away.
Yeah. Do the business. Didn't want to embarrass him. Because he could have taken it more, he could have blasted it.
It's Tanner that makes the early pass, and streaking down the far side is Marinaro. He's got so much time, and he's able to pick his corner. And for Clavijo, it's heartbreak, really, because he's fought for this team the entire year. He was given the coaching responsibilities. Marinaro continues to show that he has a flair for big plays and an ability to really place shots on goal well.
Score is a bit misleading in the end because of the 6th attacker. Now GORSEK is back in, but you got to applaud St. Louis. And actually, Ty, I think the real difference in this game goes back to a point you made in the first quarter. They were running with Cleveland at the time. They couldn't afford to do it all game, and I think they had to do it too much, and it caught up to the 3rd quarter.
To Cleveland's credit, because they forced it out of St. Louis.
Here's Ingram. Along the boards, Hoggan. Looking for Willett. Greg Muir. Back to GORSEK. There's no quit, though, in this St. Louis team. They battled. It was a 1-goal game for a long time, but Cleveland just scored that 4-goal flurry in the 3rd quarter, and that was it. Ingram. Now to Ted. If you can hear that music at home, they're going to change musical directors here in Richfield, Ohio. 10-4, Cleveland by 6. With a minute 10 left, it looks like in the Storm season in terms of the playoffs, anyway.
The Cleveland Crunch polka.
Well, I'm glad you recognize the tune. Looking for Durant. The turnaround. Oh, Durant, so great at juggling and then turning and firing like that, even at the end with not much left in the engine.
3 years ago on a similar play, he scored one of the all-time great goals that I've seen in this league. People all around the league still talk about it. It was on the highlight film. But it's not enough today, and it's not enough really for the St. Louis Storm this season. And we had a pretty good contest here up until about the last 7.5, 8 minutes.
I remember that goal like it was yesterday. We called it one of the most exciting goals I've ever called against Tacoma. Mike Dowler was playing goal at the time, and he was in the right-hand corner when he did it. A tremendous goal. I can still see it after you mentioned it, just picturing it. Less than 50 seconds to go. P.J. Johns. The loss will eliminate St. Louis from the playoffs. It will not eliminate Cleveland, and they still have still in the driver's seat. But yeah, they've got 2 games at home, but because Baltimore wins today, it's going to be interesting. And they play Tacoma next week, and they can't get in on a tiebreaker with Tacoma because Tacoma's beaten them 4 out of 5. We promise you we'll know more about the playoffs next Friday. Here's the Florio. To Hoggan. He pulls it back out. That's sportsmanship, not going for goal there. No need to.
also sometimes it's saving your own legs, because out of frustration, you'll see defenders try and get another physical shot at somebody because they're really so disappointed in losing, and their season basically, mathematically, playoff chance is over.
Well, it's all over for St. Louis, but they gave it a great effort. Before this one, they'd won 4 of their last 6 games. It's over here. 10-4. The Cleveland Crunch has defeated the St. Louis Storm. 2 of the very finest offenses in the Major Soccer League, but in the end, it was the Crunch who explode, especially here at home. Better than 7 goals a game of late on the home turf, and it was too much for St. Louis, the tired Storm team.
And 6 victories in a row for the Cleveland Crunch in front of their hometown fans. Great momentum for them. They still got to battle their way all the way into the playoffs, but they're looking strong.
So the Crunch do it to the Storm today. 10-4 is your final. We'll wrap it up when we come back. Dave Hoggan controlled things in Cleveland with a great offensive show today.
We got to see the top 3 scorers in the league. We got to see the 2 guys that are battling it out for the scoring title this season. And we see Cleveland going off the field here with high playoff hopes and a good run going in their home field.
So the Cleveland Crunch with a win as we look at Hector Marinaro unofficially, unless they change the goal. He, like Hoggan, ended up with a hat trick in this one. So a great effort today by the Cleveland Crunch. Their playoff hopes continue. St. Louis playoff hopes come to an end today. So that should do it for us here. 10-4 is the final.